Hey, so just a quick disclaimer. This video isn't like any of my other videos, I like trying new things every now and again. So if you're here for the usual funny haha, either like, fusion funny moments or big in-depth reviews, this isn't that. I'm trying something new where I just kind of talk to you guys, at least for this one video. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about everything kind of going on with the Bonelab modding community. I mean, I'm no like a big, my opinions are all my own here, and I'm just kind of making this video to sort of just talk about it, just because I kind of just want to talk about it. One of the coolest parts of having the YouTube job is that I can kind of just talk about anything and somebody will listen, and it's pretty cool. So I'm gonna just kind of give my thoughts on everything going on with the Bonelab community right now. I mean, let's get the elephant out of the way. Wigwam! Wigwam. Alright, so let me get this straight up out of the way before I even begin to speak about this. I think this is all pretty silly. I think it's taken way out of proportion. And I think Wigwam's just chilling, man. I think he's just Wigwam. Leave my boy alone. But there are definitely some things people have said about Wigwam that I do actually agree with, only to a certain extent. And I'm too much of a little pussy bitch to say that to his face, because I don't really know him that well, so it'd be weird for me to even step in at all, and even this video is kind of pushing that boundary, but I'm kind of going for it anyway. So let's get this out of the way. The big complaint people have with Wigwam is they see him as having a bit of an ego and being a little bit dickish in the way he has this ego in some ways. Now, a lot of the things Wigwam got mad at, I can completely understand as someone who gets very similar sort of comments and things, and it's sort of hard to distinguish who's being serious and who's joking. For example, with this one, this guy said Major Wigwam L, and it clearly gets on his nerves. And to other people, it's like, wow, he really got mad at one little statement by this one guy, but you've got to keep in mind there was a bunch of people saying similar things and genuinely meaning it to be demeaning and in a dickish manner. So to him, seeing just another guy going like this, it's hard to really see it and go, wow, that's a joke, when so many people are doing it seriously. Now, I also get a lot and a lot of comments and such of similar natures, some as jokes, some as not, to a point where I really can't tell. I was gonna do a thing where I showed a couple on screen, but I realized that you freaks will go and harass whoever I show. You'll search the names or whatever I show, so I'm just gonna avoid doing that. But yes, I mean, a simple search on any of my comment sections will likely show you yes. This is just kind of a very common thing, and it's just kinda how YouTube is. It really doesn't matter what you do, what kind of creator you are. There will always be somebody who absolutely hates your guts, and definitely at least a couple who at the very least just generally dislike you. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I do understand, though, that as the content creator, we are sort of expected to handle things as best as we possibly can. But we can't always do that, we're human as well, and, sometimes we fuck up, and, we just make normal, natural mistakes. I get a lot of flack for not sort of moderating my Discord at all, but, I can't really afford to hire Discord admins. YouTube ad revenue doesn't pay that well, at least not yet. Hopefully it will in the future, but I'm not there yet. And I have debated deleting my Discord server a lot, actually. I don't anymore, but I used to debate deleting it solely because I felt, well, this is a lot of babysitting that I'm not going to do, but I figured a lot of people were getting enjoyment out of it, and, announcements are good to make on there in case I need to, so I did leave it up, and I guess consequences of my actions of keeping it up and keeping that benefit is, yeah, I'm gonna get flack for not taking proper care of it. I got a little sidetracked there, but that does come back to the key point I'm trying to express here. Oh, I wish people would cut Wigwam a little bit of slack for not handling everything, perfectly. And you know what, I'll admit, not even handling some things really well at all. Like some things were just straight up handled poorly. For example, I mean, like this message here is a little corny. I mean, like, come on. So it's just a little silly, Wigwam. The only sort of negative I personally feel towards Wigwam is that he seems to think that he's done nothing wrong. Again, I'm just an outsider. I really don't know if that's how he thinks. I can't say for sure. Do not take what I'm saying as gospel. I have to say this every time I say anything because some of you guys, holy shit. But I just think from the way it seems, I don't think he is taking any of the criticism. And I hope he does because, I think it would just be better for everyone if he did. The way I see it, I think Wigwam sort of feels like he needs to get some kind of revenge against people who he feels wrongs him, which, I just think isn't really the best way to handle it. I mean, personally, I just kind of try to ignore it as much as possible and sweep it under the rug. But yeah, some things, I wish he would handle a bit better. And hopefully he's learned a bit, and hopefully everything there goes better. Now, moving away from, Wigwam, something I also want to talk about in this video, because I feel like now is a good time to talk about it since it's 7 in the morning for me. So, I don't know, I'm kind of just letting it all out there. This is less about the Bonelab community specifically and more about my general community, but it kind of ties in with the Bonelab community since, Bonelab content creator. I'm getting to a point with YouTube where I really feel like I cannot please everyone. Now, of course, I never did please everyone. Some people would watch my videos go, wow, this fucking sucks. But it's getting to a point where people who watched some of my older videos are going, yeah, these newer ones suck. And some of the newer people watching the newer ones go, wow, these older ones sucks. Or this next one sucks, or the et cetera, et cetera. And it feels like, the big thing about it is I agree with the criticisms a lot, which makes it even harder. I saw someone specifically mention that the era where I would make videos with swipes and fusion, which is still kind of going on, is not really stopped, but I've got somebody saying like that era was slop and that content, they didn't like it at all and it was ass. But on the other hand, I met some guy in a fucking VR chat world while I was dicking around for fun with swipes. And we had some guy tell me and him that it was some of like the funniest moments of any of my videos and that he really liked it. And the big thing, like I said before, is I see both sides. I can see why you would find such content funny. But I can also see how that's slop, I don't do any script writing. I don't look in depth of anything. It's just people dicking around, and I can understand if you wanted something with more substance, especially when I usually do put videos out with more substance. And yeah, those dicking around and fusion videos are a lot easier to make. And I also agree that the other videos are better, I don't look at the fusion videos and go, that's my proudest work. I go, wow, that's another video in the catalog, I guess. But when I make something like Bonelab Patch 5 review, I go, yeah, that's a good video. Although there are some things I don't like about that video either, where I get some criticisms about X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, yeah, I wish I changed that, etc., etc. And it's saddening. It really is. But I don't want to be like some sappy bitch and go, wow, this sucks. It's so saddening. Because to be honest, that's a bitch move. I think that's completely ridiculous. I've got it way easier that I can even be in this position in the first place. So to get upset over the fact that it does have some negatives is completely unfair. So I'm not going to sit here and mope around and go, wow, that is some ass, because I think that's not fair. I just sort of want to talk about it, though. It's just such a weird thing to have so many negatives and so many positives all sort of clash together. It's very unnatural. A lot of things in life, it's usually a very positive or a very negative type of situation. It's never such a clash and battle, and sort of feels like a nonstop argument and debate. But it's just kind of how it goes, I guess. Something I've never brought up in any of my videos and will never use as a defense, by the way, just to get that out of the way in case anyone takes this the wrong way, is that I do have depression. I'm on antidepressants, and my mental was in a very shitty state. It's a lot better now. The medication does work for me, which isn't something you hear a lot, but for me it really does work a lot. But it's still there. It's not something that ever really truly goes away, at least not for me. I can't speak on others' behalfs, but it does make me think and wonder if this would be any easier if I was completely normal and didn't, have this condition or whatever. But regardless, we deal the cards were dealt, and I plan to continue to do that and make videos despite how it's going throughout the ups and downs, because there are still a lot of ups. There's a lot of great comments. There's a lot of great advice and genuine criticisms, and a lot of people who make it clear that they like my videos, and a couple people who have at least said that it helped them through some really hard times. So I'll definitely keep going, if for no other reason than those pluses, because they're pretty nice, and I really like money. I do really like money. That's pretty cool. But with that all out of the way, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time in a much more typical video. But if you did really watch this 12-minute yap session, I am thankful that you sat here and listened. That does mean a lot to me.